All right, guys, back to work. Back to work. Vacation is over. Happy New Year to you. Hope you guys had a fantastic break. We got some money to make, though, this week, so back to work we go. Boy, the markets made some big moves higher this afternoon, and I have three important clues on my charts tonight that are telling us to where I think the best trades are setting up for tomorrow. One of those clues tonight tells us this move higher today, maybe nothing more than one big bull trap setting up for Tuesday. I have a ton of trades I'm tracking for tomorrow. I'm going to cover all my favorite trades, of course, in the video. I want to make sure you guys have a game plan to make some money on Tuesday. Before we jump in, though, and get the party going tonight, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I don't want you to miss tomorrow night's video, so make sure you subscribe. And if you like these videos, if you enjoy these lessons, do me a favor here tonight. Hit that like button for me. Give me a shout out down in the comment section below. Either way, thank you so much for tuning in, supporting the channel. Hope you guys had a fantastic holiday break. I definitely missed you guys the last few weeks. That's all right, that we're back in the game here again, and happy to be back here on the YouTube channel. As always, let's begin here tonight. I get the S&P and the Nasdaq ready to go in front of me. Start off tonight on the 60-minute time frames. I like to use these 60-minute charts to plan my trades for the following day, and then later on in the video, I'm going to drill down to some tick charts. Tick charts are going to make the entry timing a whole lot easier. So we'll start off first on the big picture on the 60-minute, and we'll drill down and talk entry tactics to time the perfect entries as we go deeper into the video here tonight. What are the 60-minute charts telling us right now? Well, you can definitely see we're bullish overall on the S&P and SPY and the Nasdaq. We're bullish overall. The buyers just got this nice deep pullback into a couple key areas of support, and now the buyers are likely trying to go back up and retest these highs here. The problem is this, though. This one really big clue on this chart right in front of you that tells you this might be nothing more than a bull trap. If you've taken my free video classes, there's one real obvious clue on this chart, and we'll talk about that as we go deeper into the video here tonight. Now, before we dive into the tick charts, before we talk about the entry tactics as buyers try to avoid the bull traps and go back up and retest these highs here for tomorrow, let's double check our schedule for tomorrow. There's no major news here for tomorrow. We got some minor stuff at 8:30 Eastern time. We got Michael Barr at 12 o'clock Eastern time. I don't think we have to worry about much major news until we get to Thursday morning. So just be aware of that. Next couple days here are pretty much wide open for Emini and Nasdaq traders in our trade room. So just be aware of that. No major news really until Thursday's CPI report. So let's get back to our charts, though, because, of course, the money is made on the charts. Let's now go over our favorite trades here for tomorrow. Starting off first, of course, on the E-mini and the SPY. We'll wrap things up here, of course, on the Nasdaq and the triple Qs. I mentioned a moment ago in the introduction, we are bullish, and buyers, of course, are holding off key levels of support and trying to go back and retest that high. I also talked about how there was one very big clue that said this might be nothing more than a bull trap, and that is the strength of that move going lower. Anytime we see a strong move going lower, anytime we see a strong move in one direction, we expect a pullback and a retest of that level. This is a very, very common scenario where it's a bull market into a trading range. We've got the rotation off the high of that range. They're pulling back into the FOMC, basically rate cut announcement that we had a few weeks ago, and buyers are trying to rotate now and take out those highs. The strength of that move, though, is a very big clue. It tells me that as the market rolls higher right now, I have to be very, very careful chasing this as it goes higher, because again, whenever we see a strong move down like this, we expect a pullback, a retest of that low, and then we're more likely to go back and resume that overall bullish trend. So the first clue I mentioned earlier, there are three important clues that are tipping us off to where I think the best trades are going to be tomorrow. The first clue, and possibly the most important clue, is that strong run down from last week, anticipating sellers trying to retest that low and then make that run back up to retest the high. Now that we know the 60-minute chart tells us, let's now drill down to our tick charts. Remember, tick charts are going to make everything easier. I like to use tick charts for entry timing. This, of course, is a 7,000 tick chart, upper left-hand corner. And if you're watching for the first time right now, that is the 21 EMA on all of these charts here for this evening. Now, what are the tick charts telling us? The tick charts are giving us two more important clues. One of them is this big move higher. Huge move we saw on relatively low volume this first kind of official day back after the holiday break. Why is a big move a big clue? Well, because anytime we see a big move, do we really think the buyers are going to buy high way up here? Probably not, right? They're going to want to get a deep pullback, allowing them to buy as low as they can. Usually, whenever I see a big move like this, I'm looking for a two-legged pullback and a retest of that high, because again, we don't want to buy high up. We want to buy nice and low. That's our second clue of those three clues tonight. And the third clue is right in front of us, this trading range. Anytime we have a trading range, market's bullish, into a range, a breakout, we love to look for what we call breakout pullbacks after a range breakout. Breakout pullback could be off that 60 and a quarter. It may also go all the way back into that trading range as well. That is our third and very important clue, is that range breakout with that breakout pullback. So put all of these clues together and that'll tip you off to how to make the most amount of money tomorrow morning. The 60-minute chart tells us anticipate those bears are going to try to retest that low before they make that run going higher. In other words, don't chase this market going higher. The big move higher says two-legged pullback and a retest of that high, and boy does that line up beautifully with that potential range breakout pullback off key levels of support. So the game plan is relatively simple going forward. In the video tonight, I'm going to talk about three different ways to buy that deep pullback and a few variations we'll talk about. And later on in the lesson tonight, I'll talk about some short trades, because you're probably wondering right now, if we're waiting for a deep pullback, can we short this thing off the high? We can. And there are three different short trades I'm tracking for tomorrow on that deep pullback as well. So we've got a lot we're going to cover in a very important video here for this evening. Now, the most important thing right now is I want to try to buy what I call a two-legged pullback. Now, if you're taking my free video classes right now, we talk a lot about what are called measured moves, right? ABCDs or symmetry patterns. Two-legged pullbacks are usually going to be a little bit more than a measured move, okay? So we know measured moves are a 100% extension or 100% two-legged move going lower. We're going to usually be a little bit more than that, all right? And we don't know exactly how big that first leg down will be. We don't have enough information yet to know exactly where that two-legged pullback will be, but the idea is very simple. I want to get below the moving average, get that two-legged pullback, and then that should give us that deep pullback we need to buy this thing now and go back up to retest the high. The challenge about this is going to be the fact that during that two-legged pullback, this is going to get very bearish. And so trying to pick the bottom on this, right? For all I know, it'll keep going all the way into that range and then bounce from there. I'm not a big fan of picking bottoms or trying to pick the bottom on these pullbacks. So instead of picking the bottom on this, what I'll do is once we get that two-legged pullback, I'm going to wait for the bears to try a couple times. And what I'll do is I'll use what I call a failure pattern below the moving average. Once those bears are committed, then I can use their stops to fuel the move going higher. And I can use that classic failure into pullback combination trade we talk about so much in our free video classes. So again, buying the two-legged pullback is a relatively simple idea. The actual implementation of that can be a little more challenging. I look for that measured move, again, a bit more than a measured move on the pullback. But again, I don't know how far that move will go. So rather than trying to pick that bottom, let those bears try once, let them try twice, and use their stops to fuel that move back up to retest the high. Remember, failure patterns oftentimes will pop back above the moving average and give us that pullback combination. Failure into pullback combo on the way back higher. There are a couple variations of this trade I want you to be aware of. For example, sometimes the market will really slam back higher. We won't get that pullback set up. We'll have to look for what we call a bear trap on the way getting in. And you want to buy as low as you can there on the way back up to retest the high. So one variation of that would be the two-try failure, trap the bears in off support after that deep two-legged pullback. And again, failure into pullback combination. Or if it really jumps up and runs higher here, look for that higher high in price and that little bear trap right below that low, right? So think about that for our two-legged pullback. Now, there's always a bunch of variations of this. So for example, let's say, for example, we get this pullback and it really, really sinks and runs lower. If we really get that really deep pullback, which I know buyers would all love, that momentum now may come over and they may try to retest that low. Oftentimes they will retest that low, and we can now look for what we call a double bottom retest. So again, we're hoping we're going to get 1, 2, and back up again. If we don't, though, if it rolls over and retests that low, it's virtually the same exact setup. Let them retest the low, get those bears coming in, let them try a couple times, try once, try twice. Again, I'm not a big fan of picking the bottoms. For all I know, it'll keep going lower. But once those bears get short, I can then use those stops for that failure into pullback combination. Again, the goal is to go back up and retest that high, or a lot of times, those double bottoms, they will rip and run higher, and you'll get, again, right, you don't want to buy too high up there. You want to buy that bear trap pattern we talk about so much in our free video classes. But that's the idea, right, behind buying nice and low. It may be a double bottom retest, failure into trap, failure into pullback. All right, so now you know kind of my favorite setup going into the game plan here for tomorrow. But let's take a step back for a moment. If you're watching for the first time right now, this might be a brand new language for you. All these failures and traps and pullback combinations, this might be brand new to you. But don't you worry, I teach all of these entry patterns, and I have hundreds of examples of failures and bear traps and pullback combinations. It's all included in our free video classes. What I'll do is I'll put a link up here for you in the upper right-hand corner. Grab that little info link that popped up there in the upper right-hand corner and take that free trading course, because the strategy I teach in that short video series will teach you a simple trick we use in our morning trade room to know exactly where the best winning trades are going to be each day. More importantly, though, I'll teach you 4 of my favorite entry patterns to help you start making money on your own. If you're not making consistent money right now, if you're missing too many good trades each day, if you're struggling to qualify for a funded account at Top Step or Apex, definitely hit that link up top there. Take that free course. It's perfect for someone trying to make the jump into full-time trading. And don't forget, too, if you can't grab a link up top there, I'll put all the important links tonight in the description of the YouTube video, the free course links, the trade room membership links, and also too, if you're on Twitter, I post a lot of chart updates throughout the week on Twitter. My Twitter handle down there, description there as well. Give me a follow if you're on Twitter between these videos being posted here on the YouTube channel. So now we've covered, right? Now we've covered the two-legged pullback, right, and that double bottom retest. The next variation, of course, is going to be the V bottom reversal off an area of support. We know we have an overall bull market right now. I would love to get that deep pullback, bears once, bears twice, trap them in and run back up. I would also love that double bottom reversal back up as well. That's great, but we may not get that, right? The markets are always throwing curveballs at us. Another variation we're looking for tomorrow is a V bottom reversal off an area of support. Let's say now we do get that two-legged pullback, right? But now, instead of getting this bear trap or bears once, bears twice, and getting stops like this, right? That, of course, is our favorite for tomorrow. A lot of times what happens is the market simply V bottoms and runs right back up to retest that level. those are really difficult to trade because, again, it's not easy to pick the bottom of that move. By the time you see the market going higher, it's already gone too high. How do we trade those V bottoms? Very carefully. The key is a V bottom is almost always going to give you a bear trap entry. Watch closely here. If we V bottom off that low and we start grinding on our way back up to retest that high, watch closely here. Market trend line off those highs, bring it down off that low, look left, find some prior swings, and repeat after me. First test is the best test off that new channel. This could be a bear trap, like I'm showing you here in this illustration. It could be a failure pattern, a pullback combination, a strength move. Any of the entry patterns you guys are learning in the free trading course. The most important thing though is if we do get that two-legged pullback, we know the market wants to go back and retest the high. Just don't chase it as it runs higher here. We want to buy as low as we can. So find that new channel off the highs, bring it down off that low, and grab that first test off the low of that channel. Again, my favorite is always trap patterns. It could be a trap. It could be a seller failure pattern, moving average, any of the entry patterns you guys are learning in that free trading course. That should cover the most important variations that I'm looking for here for tomorrow. Now we have the next important question. How do we short this thing? Right? How do we short this thing during that two-legged pullback? What if it reverses, right? What if we go all the way back into that trading range? Because again, that 60-minute chart has a really, really big run down last week. Let's talk about that now on the Nasdaq. There are really 3 different short trades I'm watching on the S&P and the Nasdaq. We'll cover them right now, though, on the NQ and the triple Qs. Starting off first, of course, as always, on the 60-minute chart right now, that beautiful trading range we had before we finished up the year last year, range breakout pullback, right? We know this about ranges. Ranges love to break out pullback. Great spot, and no surprise that buyers are buying that breakout pullback. But again, just like on the S&P, that is a very strong run going lower. And anytime we see a strong move down like that, we have to expect the sellers, they will try to take out that low before they finish off that move going higher. And again, the buyers have one thing on their mind, just as the S&P does. They want to take out those highs here. So we have to be very, very careful right now. That's why I said earlier, this smells a lot like a bull trap right now. I do not want to buy and chase this thing going higher. Let's go grab our NASDAQ tick charts here. This is a 4,000 tick chart you can see here on the NASDAQ upper left-hand corner, of course, 21 EMA, just as we have here on the E-mini. So same clues here on the NASDAQ, right? That is a very big move in one direction. Anytime we see a big move higher like this in an overall bull market, I want to get underneath that moving average, get that two-legged pullback. Again, think about a measured move like I talk about in the free video course, get a little bit larger, a little bit deeper pullback than a measured move. That will usually be where the buyers are going to come in on this. Again, though, for all I know, it'll keep going all the way back into that range. So again, we're not trying to pick the bottom on this. We're going to wait for that deep pullback. We'll get those bears trying a couple times. We'll use their stops to fuel that failure into pullback combination, failure into bear trap combination. We talked about this earlier, of course, on the E-mini S&P. If they do roll over, right, and retest that low, same game plan on that double bottom. Now, during that pullback, how do we short this thing? How do we short this thing on the pullback? Very, very carefully. We're very bullish right now overall. The best way to short a bull market like this is to trap buyers trying to chase this thing going higher. So anticipate now, right? Maybe there's a bull channel coming up like that. As we start going in, if I can get buyers coming in and buying high right now, I would personally call that buying a bit uncomfortably high after such a big move going higher here today. But I'll tell you right now, if we can get buyers trying to buy that shallow pullback, we can have to use their stops to fuel this move going back down again, Right? That's pretty much what you're doing, right? You're trying to trap in the buyers because you're so bullish overall. We don't have any momentum on the sell side right now. Whenever I'm trying to go against that short-term momentum, I want to use one type of pattern, and it's called a bull trap. Buyers try once, buyers try twice. I want to make sure I'm selling with a bull trap. It's a lower low in price and a trap above that high. And again, think about this. This may be the beginning of that two-legged pullback, right? So one leg, two leg going lower. And again, think about where that channel might be coming in here. And as we pull back, buyers trying once, buyers trying twice. I want that bull trap. A lot of examples of these inside of the free trading course. Let those buyers try once, let them try twice, and I want to sell as high as I possibly can. You have to short a bull trap in this situation because as we go lower, who's waiting down there? More buyers, right? I have to sell as high as I possibly can right now, and if we're lucky, we'll get a little channel come off that high, mark off that low, up around that high. Make sure you've got that lower low in price. Buyers once, buyers twice. Get those buyers trapped above that prior high. Nice strong red candle for the signal and that short back down. And knowing that a two-legged pullback will go a bit more than a measured move, that will give us an idea of where that target is going to be as we go. And remember, this could easily now roll lower. In come the bears. Not a great place for a short right here. Bears, of course, come in. They try to sell a couple times, and we use that failure into pullback combo that we talked about earlier on in the video lesson. So shorting off the high here is a pretty easy game plan. It's all about bull traps on that short. Now, another short I'm watching for tomorrow would be, let's say we do get that two-legged pullback. Let's say buyers come in and they grab this thing and they run it back up, right, to retest that high. The objective is to go back and retest that high, right? That's always the objective. Anytime we see a big move higher like this, we're looking for that two-legged pullback and a retest of the high. I like the idea of buying on that deep pullback. I hate the idea of buying a retest of that high. So when the buyers are taking their profit back to retest the high, this of course now is we look for another one of those bull traps. Buyers trying once, buyers trying twice. Again, pay attention here. It's a lower low in price and a bull trap above that high. That's the next way to short this thing. We call these double tops, right? A double top reversal. So buyers get in, they make their money going back up to retest the high. Then the rookies come in and they chase it going higher, trap those buyers once, let them try twice. When you have the two try rule like this, now we can use all their stops, right? All those stops to fuel that move going back down. This is pretty easy. The target is back down to retest that low. And guess what? This could also be a chance here now for the same basic pattern, right? Don't pick that bottom. Let those bears try a couple times, trap those bears in, and run it back higher. So plenty of ways to use what we call the two-try rule, where we talk about this a lot in the video course, right? The two-try rule, buying bear traps off the pullback, selling bull traps off the high, and again, buying those bear traps or those failure patterns, as I call it, as we make our run back up to retest that high again. There's one final variation of this for the short side, and that is a pop and grind channel. Now, I mentioned earlier that what should happen for tomorrow is we should get a two-legged pullback and a retest of that high. But let's say the market throws a curveball at us, right? Let's say something happens overnight. It's all that we always have to be ready for any possibility the following day. Let's say, for example, we get a strong shot down and then we begin to grind and grind and grind, right? These are what we call pop and grind moves. Watch closely here. I'm going to draw a trend line off that low. I'm going to draw a channel off of that high. And usually these pop and grinds like this are going to pull back to that channel. I like to go a bit above a prior swing. My favorite trades are trap entries. You guys know this if you're taking my free video classes right now. That bull trap could be a bull trap there. It could be a buyer failure above the moving average right there. Failure into pullback combination, right? So that would be a full-blown reversal. Again, it'll begin with a strong pop going lower. It'll then turn almost sideways and grind down like that. Once you see that grind down, that's when you know the odds are very good. A short off the top of that channel will make you money. Usually the size of that pop leg going down can be used as a profit target on that move going lower. And then what I do down here, right? What would the goal be once we get down to that low? Buy it back up again, right? Buy it back up again. Again, don't pick the bottom on it. But once they take out, again, usually the size of that pop leg going lower, that will give us an exit target as we go down. Once we take out that profit target down there, can we now go in and trap those bears in once, twice? Absolutely. Remember, the goal is to buy as low as we can right now because we had that big move up on the tick charts and that strong run down that we saw on the 60-minute. So I'm going to keep an eye out for that pop and grind going lower. It's not the most likely scenario for tomorrow, but I don't have a crystal ball. I want to make sure you and I are both ready in case we do pop and grind going down. You can probably make money on both sides of the market with that bull trap, that short off the top of that new channel. And then once they get that, again, kind of that measured move target down there, we can then look for bears to come in, chase that thing going lower, grab that failure, grab that pullback combination pattern we talked about so much here on the video so far. All right, guys? So the game plan is pretty easy for tomorrow, but you know the market will throw us some curveballs here overnight. There will be some things that won't make sense tomorrow morning, but that's exactly what we have our trade room opening up tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. We are back in full swing again in the morning trade room every morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I can't think of any better way to learn to trade correctly than to come out and do with us every morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. All the members in the morning trade room. I'll put all the important links tonight. I'll put the free class links, the trade room membership links, my Twitter feed. I'll put all that stuff down in the description of the video. If any questions, any trouble getting access to our free video classes, I'm always here standing by, so please don't be afraid to call the office or use live chat here in the lower right hand corner. So if you guys have questions or if you have trouble getting access to our free video classes, again, all the links you'll need in the description of the video. If you have any trouble getting access to it, definitely don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call or send an email or use live chat. All right, guys, a fantastic start to the week this morning in the morning trade room. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning. We can trade this stuff together. If not, come back tomorrow night. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same place. Once again, a very happy new year. I missed you guys over the break. We're back in the swing of things again here this week in the trade room, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. If not, same time, same place tomorrow night. In the meantime, be well, be nice to each other out there, and be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.